And with all of these things, most people are not coming out to say, listen, young girls, do not give up your education all in the name of starting a family. Ever since I went back to school, there's just this thought that's been running through my head, and I've been meaning to talk about it, but kind of, I've been always procrastinating. But this last exam I just finished yesterday, I think a couple of days during the exams, I sat with nursing mothers who came into the exam hall with their babies. And I also saw a number of pregnant women, some early pregnancy, some late pregnancy, like pregnancy in general. And some of these mothers have toddlers at home. So that got me really thinking, because I remember back in the days when they were talking to us about marriage, get married now that you're young, a woman's biological clock, it's ticking. The window she has to procreate is kind of limited. So the earlier you get married and have your children, the better for you. You and your children can grow together. If it's school you want to go to after you've had your children, you can always go back to school and whatnot, right? This was a story that was sold to us many, many, many times. And a lot of young girls gave up their life, gave up their dreams, gave up their plans to get married, just because they were told that it's okay to have your children and then go back to school later in life. Watching these women struggle, watching these women go through this phase of their life, trying to gain an education. I'm not talking about those who probably for some reason were not able to go to school during their younger days. I'm talking about those who actually focused on marriage, right? Getting married, having kids, and then going back to school. And these women are struggling. I'm also talking about those who, they are still young, probably in their late 20s, they got married, they are, having children, and they still want to get an education. These women are struggling. During my first degree, it wasn't a walk in the park, it was difficult. There's no serious season of your school life that is easy. No, there is no season that is easy. Whether you got your education during in your early 20s or you got it later in life, none of those seasons of our lives are easy. But there's a difference between going through school when you're single, going through school when you have no responsibility, going through school when nobody is expecting you to come cook, nobody is expecting you to come clean, nobody is expecting you to come, bath them, to take care of them when they are sick, to stay up throughout the night. The only thing that is expected of you is to study. You have people, you have parents, relations, family members who are capable of taking care of your financial needs. All you need to do is focus your attention on school, right? You can compare that to later in life when, you have to handle all of these responsibilities that has been placed on your shoulder as a result of the institution of marriage. And then you also have to get an education. I applaud all of these women who are choosing to go back to school despite, the responsibilities that they carry. I applaud them a lot. And I can understand why a lot of women will tell you, look, I'm going through hell, I'm going through so much, I don't want to add school into it. I can understand it too. However, what I'm trying to talk about right now is the fact that even though women are struggling with this whole going back to school later in life, trying to get an education when they are burdened with so much responsibilities. And when you talk about responsibilities, financial responsibility is also included, because most of these women have to pay their way through school. It's not like they have a spouse or they have family members who are paying for their schooling. No, they have to take care of that responsibility because it was a choice that they made. And to most people, they feel like, why are you bothering yourself? You're already married, you already have children. Why are you stressing yourself? Why don't you just get a small business or start a small business in one corner of the street and start doing your business and living your life? People don't understand, many people don't understand that desire, that desire when when a woman says, I want to go back to school. Many people don't understand it because most of the time we think that education is just for the purpose of getting a job and getting a good salary, but there is more to education than we have been taught, or we've come to believe, or we've come to understand, if I may put it that way. And with all of these things, most people are not coming out to say, listen, young girls, do not give up your education all in the name of starting a family, right? Those stories, those narratives, those ideas that has been passed from generation to generation, that a woman can have children and then go back to school. It's a terrible idea. It's a terrible advice. It's terrible. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it is terrible, because they don't tell you the things you struggle with. They don't tell you the pains that you have to live through. A lot of these women will start school, and after 1 year, they have to drop out, right? And then for you to come back, it's a process. You don't just wake up one day and be like, okay, I think I'm ready to go back, and you just go back and start from where you stopped. It's not that easy. So this whole ideology, this whole thing that we tell the younger generation, we tell young girls, we tell young women out there, oh, forget about school, just get married, have your children, and then you can always go back to school. So much happens, like within the space of 5 years, right? You might meet someone as a young girl, you might meet a man who is head over heels in love with you, and you are head over heels in love with him. But down the line, 5 years from that moment you met that person may not be excited about you anymore. That person may not really be interested in you. He may not be interested in your dreams. He may not be interested in whatever it is that you bring to the table. He may not even care. A lot of men will like, I think I found another girl. I think I made a mistake with you and all of that. And at that point, you already have kids. And then he's abandoning you to go be with another woman. Or even if he's still in the marriage, he refuses to take responsibility, or even refuses to sponsor your desire to get an education, if that makes sense. Because to him, he feels you don't need it, right? You don't need it. If you get an education, what do you intend to do with it? You already have a home. I already provide everything for you. You already have like a bed you sleep on. You already have a roof over your head. You already have food that you put in your tummy. So what else again are you looking for? You stay home and take care of the home. And then one thing again that women don't talk about is the resentment that these same men who tell you that, listen, you don't need to go back to school, I can take care of everything you want. The resentment that follows years down the line. These same men, because one thing people don't understand, as the family grow, as the years, unfold, things change. The economy changes, right? Right now, in my city where I live, a self-contained, I just saw an advert for a self-contained in one of the agency groups I just joined, and they're going, a self-contained in a not so good location is going for 500,000. 6 years ago, 2-bedroom was like 300,000, 350,000. Now, this is 2026, self-contained is going for 500,000 naira. But the problem is that the salaries is not following in the increment that is going on, right? The salaries, the income that people are earning, it's not matching the real-time economy we are living in, if that makes sense. So now, because of the fact that most men, most people don't think about what the next 5 years, the next 10 years is going to be like economically for the family, financially for the family, and the country, the nation at large. They tell you, oh, don't worry, he's going to take care of everything. All you just have to do is just focus on taking care of the kids and taking care of your family and building a home for yourself. And then down the line, the man starts looking at you as a burden. He starts looking at you like he made a mistake. Why did I even end up with this woman? She doesn't bring anything. All she does is eat. I've seen situations where men tell their women, all you do is just eat. Is that what you came to my house to do? Can't you be productive? Guy, you were the one that told her that she doesn't need to bother herself about going back to school, about getting an education, that you can't take care of everything. You will see family members, both the man's family and the woman's family, telling the woman, it's not right for any woman to stay in the house. And then they quote Proverbs 31, woman for you, and tell you what a virtuous woman is supposed to be like. But you all were the same people who told me that I don't need to stress myself about all of these things. That's why you have a man in your life to take care of all of these responsibilities. You all were the ones who, stripped me of all of the dreams, all of the ambition I had, all of the the vision I had. You stripped me of all of that. And the same you people now are coming back to tell me years down the line that, oh, no woman is just supposed to depend on a man. No woman is supposed to expect the man to provide all of her needs. We forget that we also quote the Bible where it says God was telling Eve that her desire will be upon her husband. Does it make sense to you? Now, why am I getting into all of this? I am saying that as young girls, stop listening to women, stop listening to men, stop listening to society that tells you you don't need to pursue your education, you don't need to pursue your career when you are single as a young girl. Focus on finding a man, because a man is what you need first. You have your children when you're still young, and then over time, you can still go back to school and achieve all you want to achieve. Let me tell you the truth. The best time to achieve everything you want to achieve, it's when you are not burdened with all of this responsibility. Because the moment you become laden with all of this responsibility, I tell you, the probability of you being able to take charge of your life, build a life for yourself, is next to zero. If there is anything like that. But yeah, this is just what I wanted to share. We will talk about all of these things some more. But I promise you, going back to school as an older woman, going back to school as a mother, going back to school later in life, in your late 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, I promise you, it's not a walk in the park. I'm not talking about going for your master's or going for your PhD. I'm talking about going back to school to get the first degree. It's not, oh God, it's not a walk in the park. I promise you that much. But anyway, I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you for watching.